Well, I want to plan my week for R&R. Then plan it. Plan not having your cell phone attached to your hip. Plan whatever it may be, not spending time with people if that drains your cup. Either way, whether it's for R&R, progress, anything in between, planning is going to help you tremendously.
To Kevin's point, if you're planning your weeks out and you're trying to be productive during the week, you could literally be less productive during the week and then a little bit more productive during the weekend. And not only would you be better off, you'd be compounded a giant multiple better off.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode. It was last week's live podcast, one of my favorites for sure. Who must you become to accomplish your dreams? Today, for episode number 968, how are you planning your weekends? So, as I've been talking about pretty often lately, I am a huge mixed martial arts fan. And as you know, Alan and I record these episodes on Monday. So yesterday was Sunday, and it was Mother's Day. The Saturday prior, the day before, there was a big fight on. There was a big fight card, and Alan won't like to hear this, but I watched UFC from 6 p.m. until 1 in the morning. There was a lot of UFC going on, but I decided to do that, and Alan can yell at me off the air. But no, I'm just teasing. As you know, that's one of my favorite things in the world. That's a big cup filler for me, and I just love it. I've been doing it for a long, long time and watching it for many, many years. Here's the problem. It is pretty late if you're going to bed at 1, 2, 3 in the morning on a Saturday, and then you have plans on Sunday for Mother's Day. So I woke up at 8, Taryn woke me up, and again, I went to bed at like 3 or 3:30. Taryn woke me up and said, "Hey, babe, we got to leave by like 8:45." And I said, "What do you mean? Like 8:45 when? Like this 8:45?" And she said, "Yeah, like 45 minutes, we got to leave." And I was thinking to myself, this is gonna be a rough day for the kid. 4.5 hours of sleep is not a lot of sleep. Mm-hmm. Now, I can run on it because I've done it in the past, but it's definitely not healthy, and I do not suggest it for any other human being walking the planet.
It's a rookie move.
Yeah, it wasn't good. So I woke up, I showered, I brought a couple cans of coffee. Taryn picked up coffee at Costco, which was cool. And I just slugged them down. And on the way home, Taryn and I were talking, and I said, my bad for not asking when we were leaving. I should have done a better job of planning. And she said, no, that's on me too. I should have told you what the plan was. Her and I just didn't communicate at the level that we should have, and no worries, it wasn't the end of the world. But on the ride home, I said, you know what, babe, I'm really starting to feel that I'm going to have to really, really pick and choose what UFC cards I stay up for and watch, because me going to bed at 3 o'clock is not sustainable. And then we started talking about the plan, and I said, well, I mean, you got to think about it. I could have gone to bed at 1, but I stayed up and watched the post-fight stuff, and I was just hanging out. I didn't really want to go to bed. And if I knew that we were getting up so early, I probably would have gone to bed a little bit earlier. So this was my frame. I said, well, what I have to do is I have to plan out my Sundays better. So I want every Sunday to be the same. I don't want to have a bunch of different things in terms of I'm going to go to the gym at this time. I'm going to go to no. I don't like that. That doesn't work super well for me. So I'm going to plan my Sundays this way. I'm going to wake up at 6, 7, or 8. I don't know yet, depending on when I go to sleep. I'm going to work. First thing I do, I'm going to come into the office and I'm going to do all my work. And I'm going to make sure that when Taryn gets up at 9 or 10, depending on when she gets up, maybe 8, I am available. So her and I can do our date day. And I'm going to reverse engineer the day based on what I have going on, or I'm going to reverse engineer what I do the day before based on the next day. So if I know I'm going to stay up, I'm going to go to bed right after UFC is done, and I'll get up at 8, I'll get 7 hours of sleep, I'll hammer out my work, and then when Taryn gets up at 9 or she gets up at 10, I'll be ready to be present and spend time with her. And I just think a lot of us, particularly if you're a dream chaser, if you're somebody who's trying to make progress outside of your job, or maybe you're a new entrepreneur, the weekends can really make or break you, because what is your intention on the weekend? I know that my intention used to be to escape, or my intention used to be to get drunk, or my intention used to be to hang out, like whatever it may be. If your progress in your life is secondary, then you're losing a lot of opportunity. Now, again, I'm not saying you should work 12 hours on Saturday and Sunday. I don't do that, so I would never suggest that you do that because I try not to suggest anything that I'm not doing. But I do think that a lot of us think once Saturday comes, it's the end of the week. And if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a dream chaser, you are losing a ton of opportunity. I mean, you can make so much progress on the weekends because nobody else is working. So there's a lot of things you can do. So my new plan is I'm going to try to get at least 7 hours of sleep based on what I do the night before. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to bust out 2-3 hours of work, get my essentials done, and make sure I can be present when Taryn wakes up. But it's all based on the fact that, you know what, this Sunday just wasn't planned very well. And we usually plan our weekends better than that, and we intend on planning them better in the future. And if you're not planning your weekends like you're planning your weeks, you're definitely losing opportunity. And even if it's from the perspective of, well, I want to plan my week for R&R, then plan it. Plan not having your cell phone attached to your hip. Plan whatever it may be, not spending time with people if that drains your cup. Either way, whether it's for R&R, progress, anything in between, planning is going to help you tremendously.
If you're listening to this show, you want to get to the next level, and we're trying to always come from that frame of what is going to help our listeners, our clients, our team, our community, most importantly, succeed at a higher level. And I was listening to a motivational video this last week, and it's 22 minutes, and one part of the motivational video has Elon Musk's commencement speech in it. And he talks, I don't know if he's talking to business students or what, but he says that particularly if you're going to start a company, you have to work very, very hard. And he says, well, what does very, very hard mean? He said, well, I'll break it down in simple math. He said, if you're working 80 or 100 hours a week and other people are only working 40, then you get twice as much done in the same time. And I remember when he said that, I remember thinking to myself that Elon had the math wrong. And the reason why is because if you're improving by 1% while you're working, it actually ends up being way more than twice as much. And I'll explain the math in this. So I've done this many, many times with clients. I've done this behind the scenes with the team. I did this on a meetup one time, and I think I screwed up the numbers a little bit, so I made sure this time that I had them right. But The Compound Effect is not my favorite book because Darren Hardy is the best author. I think he's a great author, but in particular, The Compound Effect is my favorite book because the concept itself about the law of compounding is the most important concept to understand when it comes to this. And regarding how are you planning your weekends, we think, oh, it's just the weekend, it's no big deal, but that's the problem. We have inaccurate thinking when it comes to that. So here's what I did. I just downloaded a financial calculator on my phone. It's on my homepage. And I calculated the numbers on this. So if you were to improve by 1% per day, which obviously if you're a listener of NLU, that is your goal, because that's why we do an episode a day, is because you brush your teeth every day, you can improve by 1% every day. That's what we believe. And so if you improve by 1% per day for 2 full years, the numbers actually add up to where you are 1,427 times better. 1,427 times better. And if anyone's curious as to how I got to that number, you can put $100 in a calculator, financial calculator, have it grow by 1% per day for 730 days. So 730 days is 2 full years, okay? And it comes out to, I think it's 140,000, which 140,270 divided by 100 obviously is 1,427. So that's how I got there. Now take out the weekends. This is what I did. I took out the weekends and I calculated the same thing, but without the weekends. You are only 178 times better in 2 years if you improve by 1% per day only during the weekdays. And that's the numbers. That is a fact. You are 8 times less extraordinary by taking the weekends off. Mathematically. This is not my opinion. This is scientific mathematical fact. People think, oh, Alan works every weekend because he loves to work. I do love my job and I do love my career and I do love my mission. I love to work. I will admit that. But I say this often to people. I am not more consistent than you because I'm naturally more consistent. I am more consistent because I'm more aware of the long-term downside of not being consistent. If people knew that taking the weekends off makes you 8 times less in just 2 years, which, by the way, That's 16 times less in 4 years, 32 times less in 8 years, and it compounds accordingly. So when Elon said you'll get twice as much done in the same time, that's not true. It's not even close. As a matter of fact, if you were to look at the highest achievers in our society, all of them are leveraging this to some extent. The best rapper to ever live, arguably Eminem, did not take the weekends off of rapping. We just kind of inherently know this. And so the point that I want to make on this episode is, to Kevin's point, if you're planning your weeks out and you're trying to be productive during the week, you could literally be less productive during the week and then a little bit more productive during the weekend. And not only would you be better off, you'd be compounded a giant multiple better off. And again, this is the math. If you were to take $100 and compound it daily for 7 days a week rather than 5 days a week, you would be blown away with how much of a difference that would make in the long run.
What's happening, guys? My name is Alex, and I am a professional videographer who runs a production company out of Halifax, Nova Scotia. The one thing that I love about working with Alan is that right away he was able to come in and set up a system for me that makes sure that I am taking charge of my time and I'm taking the actionable steps that I need in order to progress towards my goals on a day-to-day basis. He's always been great at giving me the information that I need exactly at the right time in order to progress to the next level when it comes to my business. And overall, I think he's just a great personality. When I get off the phone with him, I always find that I am energized. I know exactly where I need to focus my attention in order to progress, and I am getting the most out of what I do with my time.
And the truth is, for many of us, I think it's the belief that it's going to be very challenging is usually greater than what it's actually going to take. So when I say that, this is what I mean. I can get my system of success done in 2 hours, really, if I habit stack and I do mobility and learn something, or when I'm doing the dishes, I learn something, right? Like, you can get 6 habits done in an hour. So it's not like you necessarily have to work for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours on a Sunday. What are the I don't want to say bare minimums. What are the non-negotiables? What are the non-negotiables that you know will make progress? Do I have to track the finances every day? No. I mean, we can skip on Sunday, but then you just lose. You lose the data. You lose a lot of things that might not seem like they matter in the short run, but they do in the long run. Could I skip 45 minutes of learning on Sunday? Sure, I could. But I don't like to. I think that's also part of your identity. It's very hard to get to the point where you feel like you're a very, very, very consistent human being if you're only doing it 5 out of 7 days. That's the other thing too. So I want the barrier to entry to be low for you if you're out there. It doesn't mean you have to do a full 8-hour workday. I don't work
for sure,
right.
For sure.
Like,
that's
I
not
don't
what
work,
I'm saying.
Right. I don't work 8 hours on Sunday. I work 2 to 3 max. Right. And I want to make sure that I'm present for Tara, and I want to do a better job of that, honestly. Saturday, it's usually 5 or 6. I know Alan has heavy Saturdays. Alan works more on Saturdays than I do. But I just think it's one of those things of, it's just keep the progress up. Keep the progress up that you've made throughout the week, and don't do 5 days of progress and then 2 days off and then have to start again on next Monday. There's a difference between momentum and stop and start. And if you're just having the weekends to yourself to just do whatever you want, that's one thing. And again, we all start somewhere, but you could do a little bit better and a little bit more, even if it's read 5 pages of a book on Sunday. And you don't have to conquer the world overnight. It's not going to happen. But Alan asked what my goal was in this episode, and my goal is to use my story and our lessons and our stories to inspire a new thought or behavior where you say, you know what? Yeah, okay, this is a great example. This is even this. If you decide I'm going to watch 5 episodes of something on Netflix, but in between each episode, I'm going to read 5 pages out of a book, you're planning your weekend a little bit better. And that right there is progress. You could literally start with something that small and you'd read 25 pages of a book on a Sunday, and maybe that's a new behavior. So that is my challenge. Next time you are binge watching something, throw something in there that's going to be beneficial to your long-term success as well.
Absolutely. All of your dreams are on the other side of consistency and improving by 1% per day. So before we go, I just want to share with this with everybody. So if I put $100 and I grew it by 1% for 260 days, which 260 days is 5 days a week times 52 weeks. So if you took the weekends off, it would be 260 days a year. It comes to $1,329. Now, if I do 365 instead of that, which is every single day, it goes to more than double. It's 2,803. So you almost triple the amount of outcome just by doing a little bit on the weekends. And that's in 1 year. That's in only 1 year. Imagine every year. So 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3, is it 27? Yeah, times 3 is like 83 or something like that. I genuinely don't know off the top of my head. But my point is this compounds over time. This is like a drastic thing that math people really understand that. And Kevin and I, Kevin in particular, has really leaned into the mathematics behind success, and I'm really trying to help people understand them at a deeper level. And so what if you could achieve 3 times as much just by working a little bit on the weekends? That's literally mathematically what we're talking about here. So Rome wasn't built in a day, it was built every day. And the same is true for your dreams.
And it's one of those things, last thing before we go, where I know when I go to bed on Saturday that Sunday is a pretty easy day, all things considered, right? Sunday is the easiest day of the week in terms of what I'm doing behind the scenes. And I actually get to R&R and spend time with Taryn. And I can do it. This is the other thing too. And again, it's a fine line, but I can do it guilt-free.
Damn right.
Am I potentially losing progress? Yes, because Alan and I could work 16 hours a day every day and things might grow quicker, obviously. But you have to have the conversation with yourself of what am I willing to do and what are my non-negotiables, what are my core values, what are my core beliefs. That's a whole entire different episode. Next Level Nation, we have had a ton of listens over the last few days, and I realize that many of you might not know about our Facebook group. So I know that a lot of people, Alan and I have seen this, whether it's clients, friends, just people that we've talked to, they don't necessarily feel like they can be themselves around their family or around their friends or around their community because they are dream chasers and they want more and they want to learn, they want to grow, they want to evolve, they want to have deep conversations, but that's not the identity that they have in their quote-unquote real life. Join our private Facebook group, Next Level Nation. I think we have 611 people as of today. Everybody in there wants to get to the next level of their life. And we love you for who you are. We love you for who you've been, but we also love you for who you want to become. And it's our goal to help you get there. And that's part of the community. There's questions in there every day. There's motivation. There's inspiration. There's laughs. It's a great community to be a part of because everybody wants better and they want better for you as long as that's what you want too. Click the link in the show notes. It'll take you there. And again, totally free, totally private. Be you. We love you for it.
So the day of this recording is the day after Mother's Day. I spent last night with my mother, Emilia with her mother, and Father's Day's next. Father's Day is coming up. So Father's Day, ever since Kevin and I met, we've spent every single Father's Day together because, as you know, if you listen to this show, we both grew up without fathers. So we started something called the Next Level Hope Foundation, and it's for boys without fathers. And we want to take what's traditionally been a very sad day for he and I and turn it into a great one because that's what we did in our own lives, and we want to do that for these boys. Kevin is ordering shirts that say the future is next level for these boys. We will be wearing them as well. I can't wait. Pumped. But we will be matching donations up to $500. There will be a link in the show notes to our GoFundMe page. We are at $410. We are only $90 away from our goal. And we'll be matching $500. So if the donors get to $500, we'll be matching that $500. So we'll be $1,000 for 20 boys this year, and then we're going to double that every year from now on. Thank you to the 7 donors who have already donated. There's $90 left. Every little bit counts. Please donate if you want to contribute and make that day extra special.
Next Level Nation tomorrow for episode number 969. How can I find a balance between external and internal results? It's last week's live Q&A, a very, very powerful question. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. We have a lot of new people as well, so thank you so very much for all of the new members of the community. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Please reach out.